Hi, I'm Rachel Miller, and today I'm going to talk about some of my planners and why I like them. I'm a big journaler, love taking notes with pen and paper. I'm a big believer in pen and paper to-do lists, so I'm excited to talk through some of the choices that I tried out this winter. So this first one is the Day Designer Flagship Mini. It has a really beautiful cover. It comes in a bunch of different other patterns that all kind of feel this vibe. It's like stripes and very beautiful marble. It's got that kind of like Instagram-friendly look to it. So this is a dated planner, which isn't for everyone. I think that's one of the big questions you have to think through as you're buying a planner, is whether or not you want something that's dated. So the beginning of the planner starts off with sort of these like planning your year pages, not planning like what you're gonna do in 6 months, but sort of planning out your goals and where you wanna be. A lot of journals and planners have these intro pages, and I find some better than others. Some are really cheesy and corny, some aren't. I think it's really about like finding the one that speaks to you, and I really liked these. You've got a monthly view, which is nice, and then each day gets its own page, which I'm a big fan of. It kind of depends on how much you're planning to write. The thing that I loved about the Day Designer is that they have this like little segment in the upper corner that says, do, dinner, dollars, and don't forget. By writing down like what you have for dinner and who you have it with, like it actually is kind of an effective diary. Like that's a cool thing to track over the course of the year. There's like really beautiful tabs for each month, so you can kind of flip to them easily. It has a spiral bound edge, which I'm on the fence about, but I actually think it works really well here. One of my complaints about the Day Designer is that it's a little bit bulky. It's not super heavy, but like you're gonna need a purse big enough to carry this. It feels very great for like teachers, for people who are like creatives, people who have like that beautiful home office that they're always Instagramming from about their side hustle. Day Designer has really good goal setting stuff in the beginning of the planner, which I really loved, and the font design choices are just like really beautiful, genuinely inspiring, and just like very thoughtfully done. I just was really impressed by how the whole planner was put together. Next up, we have the Panda Planner, which is available on Amazon. It was one of the really, really highly reviewed planners that were on Amazon. You start with a calendar page. This one is actually not dated, which is cool. You can start at any time and you can fill in the dates as you go. So it kind of has a setup for a monthly plan, writing down like this month's goals and distractions to avoid. There's a spot for notes, again, pretty small. A lot of these, that's like a recurring theme. They're good for people with small handwriting. So this puts all of your monthly pages at the front of the planner versus like month, then several days, then another month. So we start with a review of last week. You're supposed to go through your big wins, how you'll improve, writing down habits I'm focusing on developing every single week. I don't know that I have a new one every single week, and that feels like a lot of pressure, but this is where it kind of is, it's a personal preference thing. So all of the weekly pages are together, similar to how all of the monthly pages were together. So then we move into the daily page. It kicks off with a morning review. So this is really good if you're looking to like start a journaling habit, if you want to do morning pages or morning journaling or something to that effect. This is a really great guided space for it. This is a lot for me for the morning. Like I don't have an affirmation every day. A lot of planners have this like self-improvement stuff built in. I think, you know, having to reflect every day on how you will improve sort of starts with this idea that like you're not good enough as you are. So I'm a little skeptical of having to every single day say like how I'll improve tomorrow, because it's like some days I feel like I did a pretty good job. Like I don't know that I actually have that much I want to work on, but it's great for people who want that and who are really into sort of like affirmations and motivational like kind of phrases and want to like really work through those things. Panda Planner wasn't my favorite, but I think it has a lot of good qualities. Really good for people who've never used a planner before. I feel like it's good for teens or people who are just like getting started with using a planner. And it's very positive and uplifting, and it's there cheering you on. So I think that it's great for a lot of people, even if it's not like my first choice. Next up, we have the Simple Elephant, which for a lot of animal planners, I'm not sure why. This is another one that's available on Amazon, another one that has a ton of really positive reviews, and I was actually really pleasantly surprised by the Elephant Planner. I thought it was a lot more elegant and nicely designed than I would have expected, especially for the price, so gets a lot of points for that. I also thought that the color was really beautiful, this nice blue, very neutral. Has a pen loop, which is a nice benefit. Some planning pages for kind of like planning your year. We've got like my focus, I'm grateful for, my affirmations. It has page numbers, which is amazing. I love having page numbers in a planner or journal, and most of them don't have them. The Elephant Planner is also undated, which is a good benefit. If you miss a few days or you miss a week, it's not the end of the world. You can pick up and you're not gonna have wasted pages. Once again, you've kind of got all of your month and year together, and then we'll jump ahead to the weekly pages. This is a kind of different layout than we've looked at with some of the other ones, where you've got the entire week over just 2 pages. You don't have a lot of room for each day. So this is good if you don't have super long to-do lists, if you just want to list like assignments, kind of just like reminders. It's got goals for this week, successes, what I can do better. Again, after looking at so many planners, I'm just kind of like, can you get off my back about like things I can do better and just like let me suck for a little while? But on the whole, I was really impressed by it. I was pleasantly surprised by the design, by the quality. It also has at the back some notes pages, which is nice. It has, I think, like 40 pages of notes, which is pretty significant. Simple Elephant is like kind of the homecoming queen of planners. It's like best all around. It's very like universal. It's very clean. It's popular for a reason. I think it's a great one for like people of all ages. It's very like great for any gender. I could just see a lot of people really loving this planner. This is the HOBONICHI TECHO. This is the cousin. They make several different versions of it. Each are slightly different in size, in sort of layout. It's a Japanese company that makes it, and each year it's sort of like a new edition, and they make changes based on like customer feedback from things that like, oh, people complain that they didn't like this or they really liked that. So it's like constantly evolving, which I think is really cool. This is the 2018 version. It is dated. One thing that is worth pointing out is that because it's made by a Japanese company, there's a lot of Japanese symbols, characters, and like full sentences throughout. Not a huge deal, and if you speak Japanese, that's awesome, but it is something like, you know, worth considering. So one of the best aspects of this planner is that it's so thin for how many pages it is, and that's in part because the pages themselves are really thin, and it's really high quality paper. Japanese stationery is just sort of like above and beyond, and this is a perfect example of like what that looks like in practice. It's so well designed, and the paper quality is just like so smooth and silky to write across. It doesn't bleed. So we start off with a monthly spread where it's like January, February, March, kind of across 2 pages, and then it has every single day down this left side. And then we go to the weekly pages, which again, I will keep saying this about this planner, but it's so well designed. Like the grids are really nice. They just put so much thought into exactly how real people use planners, and it just completely shows. So we start off the month with like a remember this page. Each month has like it uses a different color ink. So like as you're flipping through them, you can kind of see like, oh, January is red, and then February is brown, and March is purple. Just like a subtle change throughout to show like we're changing months. The daily pages themselves are so nice. We've got the date at the top, we've got the phase of the moon, which I think is just really cool. And then down the side of the page, it's got the hourly breakdown. So we've got a little bit of room for planning your actual day. Then you've got a couple official check boxes, and then just a lot of space to play in. It also has like a daily quote, which is a big part of the fun, is seeing like the quotes that they choose each year. They're like really charming and lovely. So one of my favorites pages is actually called favorites, and it's just like a cool way to track things that you love throughout the year. I just think it's really cleverly designed. You can kind of like write why you love it and rate it on a scale of 5 stars. I've never seen anything like that in a planner, and I thought it was really clever. But then we've got this gifts page, which is also cool, kind of like to and from, just like another clever and thoughtful way of thinking about how you spend your year. The HOBONICHI also has lay flat binding, which means if you set it on your desk, no matter where you are in the planner, it will stay open. You know, a lot of journals, when you first start them, they're really unbalanced and they're flipping. So lay flat is just like another one of those design elements that they thought through, and just like all those like very subtle design choices that add up to a really my and useful and practical planner. So this HOBONICHI TECHO cousin was my favorite of all of the ones that I looked at, and even though I continue to use my standard, my journaling method, I genuinely really considered giving that up to use this planner because I like it so much, and I may end up getting the 2019 version because it's so elegant, it's so thoughtful, it's so beautifully designed. If you love good design, if you want something you can sketch in, if you want something that like does all of the work for you and does it really well, such a strong recommendation for this one. This is the Ink and Volt planner, which a lot of my friends recommended to me. This is a really lovely green one, but one of the biggest things with Ink and Volt is like the design is just so impeccable, and it comes in other really like lovely neutrals, beautiful colors. So we open with just a year at a glance calendar. The Ink and Volt planner is super guided. It's like helping you plan your life and think in a bigger way, which is cool. So it starts with a yearly page. What do you want to leave behind this year? What are things you want to learn this year? So this is the undated one. There's also a dated one. So we get like our blank monthly page you can fill out. Got a spot for focus, a spot for notes. It has a spot for giving yourself a 30-day challenge, which is basically like a short-term goal for the month. For the next 30 days, I want to blank. I want to make this happen because blank, and my plan of action is this. It's nice to just sit down at the beginning of the month and say, like, what do I want to do differently this month? So one thing I like about Ink and Volt that I was really on the fence about, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try it, is that each week it sort of gives you a prompt that like it invites you to think through. So like this one, the very first one, a fresh start means fresh possibilities. What are some things that you can do to make the next 6 months incredibly awesome? And then there's just like a bunch of dot grid space to journal about it. And you get one of these prompts each week. So I like try on Sunday nights, like sit down and work through mine. Then there's a spot for weekly goals and then a space to reflect. And then I love that it has a little reminder at the bottom to review yearly goals, monthly goals, last week's progress, and 30-day challenge, and it has boxes to check off when you actually do it. So a lot of planners are organized where like Monday will run horizontally and then Tuesday will be horizontally below that if it's covering 2 pages. This one is organized so that they're vertical, which is so smart, and I don't know why no one else has thought of that, because vertical, like writing things down the side of the page is how we naturally make to-do lists, so I just thought that was completely genius. It also has page numbers, which I'm a big fan of. This one, like a lot of them, is very goal-oriented, but I connected with it a little bit more. I found it very kind of inspiring in a way that I didn't expect, so it ended up kind of being one of my favorite planners of all the ones that I looked at. The Ink and Volt is so beautiful, so well designed, pretty motivational, which I wasn't expecting, so I think it's a pretty solid planner. So after trying out all of these planners and many more, the HOBONICHI was my favorite. The design element just like couldn't be topped. I loved the color, I loved the layout. I felt like this was the planner that I would design if I were designing a planner. I would love to hear what your favorite planners are, and if you had a favorite and have tried any of the ones that I've used, and what your thoughts are on them.